Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming this evening to the AAT CPD evening of the Hertfordshire and Chiltern branch. I have the pleasure to accept an invitation that I sent to Panjak at the last minute today to cover this evening's CPD for us. Panjak is going to talk about social media for business. Panjak runs Max Accelerator Limited, which is a software company with unique products like wohola and SwiftPass. Software engineer by education, Mr. Gold has over 24 years of experience and expertise in most aspects of the technology sector, working in various positions from a program to CXO levels. He's gained his expertise and experience working from companies ranging from small but high-tech startups all the way to well-known companies like IBM and Morgan Stanley. He's also invented the new technologies for wohola and SwiftPass. These technologies, for the first time ever, allow such type of enterprise-grade solutions to be available to small business at prices they can afford. And I now welcome Pankaj to present. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandra. Hello, everyone. My name is Pankaj Goyal, and I run a software company, Accelerator Limited. And basically, I'm a software engineer and an inventor. So there are a couple of technologies like Sandra mentioned, wohola and SwiftPass, which are unique, globally unique as of now, which I've invented. And but today's discussion is not about those technologies. In fact, it's more about an informative session. And when Sandra invited me to this forum, and I realized what is it that would be most useful to people, to this audience. And I realized that most of the big companies, they know how to use social media to generate business, generate leads. It's the small businesses that struggle. So I thought the best thing that we could talk about in today's meeting would be how small businesses, which many of your accounting firms could qualify in that sector, as well as many of your clients could start using the power of social media and internet to start generating business, which as of now they're struggling with. Before I start, I must say that I had a very, very short notice, so I would have liked to have very pretty pictures in my slides, but which I was not able to do because of lack of time. But then I thought about it, I said, we're all accountants here. So you're not impressed by pretty pictures, are you? So you just need the facts and figures. So you're used to the wordy documents. So I think this is perfect for this audience. So first of all, I'm not at all going to cover what is social media. I'm not going to tell you what Pinterest is, what Facebook is or Twitter is, because most of you know that already. If you don't, you could just figure it out in a couple of minutes. Most likely your children or your grandchildren can teach you that in 5 minutes. So this is not the right forum to learn about those things. What we are going to think about is that what is it that social media can do for business, and we would cover a strategy that you could take home and actually start generating business once you apply that strategy, because that is what is more useful for you as well as your small business clients. So first of all, what is it that social media can do for a business, any business, small or big? One of them is like brand development, because earlier people were, if they wanted to do brand development, they would run different campaigns, TV ads, newspaper ads. But now social media is just another one of those marketing channels. You can do that. Difference is with TV or other traditional media, you could not engage with the customer. That's where the power of social media comes in. You could actually have a two-way communication with your audience. And that customer engagement is the most important aspect, and that is the main thing that you have to focus on when you're trying to develop business using social media. That this is something that unique power that you get from social media, which you don't get through traditional media like newspapers or TV ads. So it's a very powerful marketing channel. It is also a very good channel for generating web traffic. And as everyone knows, more traffic means more business. There is a direct correlation there. And that web traffic eventually leads to the lead generation. So each time you get a lead, if you handle the sales process right, it generates a direct business or contract. Also, a lot of companies use social media for customer support. Like if somebody is running into difficulties, they can post a message to a particular Twitter account or on their Facebook page, and they respond to that message and try to resolve those issues. A lot of companies use it for market research because all kinds of messages, all kinds of companies are posting everything on social media. So you could do research not only for your clients on what your clients are doing, what your competitors are doing, and all kinds of market research you could do. You could do trends research, and you could also make news and announcements. It's a low-cost way of making your announcements being made public. Otherwise, until now, it wasn't possible. Only the news that newspaper wished to publish was the only one that would get any coverage. So small businesses did not have a choice. But now, any business, small or new, can make an announcement. Whether people read it or not, that is secondary, but at least you have that choice. So before I start, I would like to ask some of the people here if you have used any social media for purpose of generating business?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
So what challenges do you think you face?
Competition.
Competition. First of all, do you get any business from social media?
I've had a few inquiries. I would have anticipated receiving more than I have received. Thus, the reason it is a challenge.
Any other challenge?
From website or from?
Everything, website, social media. Just let's talk about online channels.
Expanding the reach.
What's that?
Expanding the reach, because if, say, it's on Facebook, you've only got the people, you can only communicate really with the people who like you, and you have to branch out and get extra likes from people that haven't already liked you.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Sometimes, like if you, they put you up on the list so that you go higher up, so that you're noticed. Like if you're on a Google thing, they the more you pay, the higher you go, and the more you get. I got to the point where I actually asked them to put me down. I didn't have enough hours in a week.
Yeah, and these are most common challenges. Basically what happens is when a business, a small business in particular, starts using any online mechanism, what they end up doing is they end up building a very small website because obviously they can't afford a big website, they don't have the budget. Once they build the website, they realize that it's very difficult to manage that website because most of the business owners are non-technical, and despite whatever your web designers say, that you could edit the content, but when you go back into the admin panel, you realize that that's it, you can't. And then you're dependent on your web designer for any changes you want to make to the site. So what ends up happening is your site stays constant. It doesn't change. A small site which never changes, right? And that's a big no-no. Because the moment that happens, there is no way you would ever go up in search engine rankings. There is no way people are going to read your content. They would not, there is no way you would get any repeat visitors. And all of those things mean that you would not get any business from your website. It has, like I said, impact on search engine rankings, the traffic, and you don't get any business. And then when you go out, try to use social media, you realize that maybe initially when you launch a new page, you ask your friends and family, so you get 50 likes, and that's about it, it stays there.
Yeah.
It never goes up.
That's hard work, isn't it?
Right? And then you basically post a few things and nobody reads them, nobody likes them, nothing. It just sits there.
Yeah.
Right? And after some time you give up and say, forget it, who cares?
Yeah.
So you don't get any engagement. And the worst part is, like for most business owners, I've talked to like hundreds and hundreds of business owners. Most of them are non-technical. They find everything to be so damn complex that they wish that something were to be easier. So, and sometimes they have money, they hire techies, they hire web designers, they hire social media experts or whatever to be able to run those campaigns for them. Have you tried talking to them? What do they talk? Can you even understand what they're saying? They talk in pig Latin. You know what that pig Latin is? Anyone? It's a make-believe language which techies have created just to fill up the content when they create the websites. So it's lorem ipsum dolor, you know. So that's how they talk sometimes, right? I'm an expert in this field. Okay. Half the time when I talk to these techies, even I struggle to understand. It's not because I don't have the knowledge. It's because quite often it's just the way it is, you know? Because people just like to throw in these acronyms just to impress people and keep going round and round and round, and not ever specify clearly what is it that they are doing, what is happening.
Jargon, is it?
Yeah. So another challenge is that whatever you're trying to do, everything takes forever and costs too much. You know, so sometimes you think, oh, if I could do this, it would help me get business. Then you go to a company and say, okay, I want to do this, and they say, that's it. It's going to cost like thousands and thousands of pounds. It'll take 6 months. Right? And sometimes, you know, because most of these companies, they just use standard pre-built software. They just say that, no, it can't be done. You just have to use only these features. And at the end of the day, what I have noticed is for small businesses, doesn't matter what your budget is. For small businesses, there is zero return on investment. I have not come across a small business who is able to generate business from social media or online channels. You have to have a very big budget to get any returns out of that. So only big companies are able to take advantage of this. So that's why I thought today's scope, the discussion today would focus only on one thing and one thing only. Because if you get one thing right, rest will take care of itself. Now, there are hundreds of strategies for generating business using social media. We can't cover them all, and we can't even cover this strategy in great detail. But at least we could cover the basics of this particular strategy, and at least some of the very basic tools and techniques you can use to implement that strategy, and what are the things that need to look for when you're looking for your website, or when you develop your website, or when you're doing social media, which social media platforms to go for. So that's what we would cover today. Just one strategy which will gradually bring your rankings up on the search engine, as well as start getting you some traffic as well as leads over a period of time. But let me warn you, there is no quick fix. Everything takes time, especially this. Okay, so if you think that you could walk out of here today, and then tomorrow you'll start getting 100 inquiries, it's not going to happen. And if somebody promises you that, watch out. Don't pay them money. So the strategy is very simple. If I were to just say, in just a few lines, it's very, very simple strategy. You can't go wrong. All you need to do is have a website where you can change content and look and feel easily and quickly. Because that is the key. You need to be able to keep adding more and more and more and more information forever. For as long as you're running business, you cannot stop doing that. So you have to implement that consistently. And you can't just write random stuff or 100 different ways of sending the same sales message either. Those articles have to be interesting and useful, which are related to your business. So for instance, in your case, because you're accountants, whenever the tax laws change, you could write different articles about how those business tax laws impact what type of businesses. So you could write maybe 50 articles on just one tax law change, impact on different types of industries or sectors. Right? So you have to keep doing that consistently over a period of time. And then you have to keep posting these links on social media on a regular basis and on the various blog sites. So we'll cover in detail which all places you can post, how you post, what all things you need to take care of while posting. And do this consistently forever. For as long as you're running this business, you cannot stop. So, as per this strategy, you have to understand your website is your central console. And everything else are just supporting tools whose job it is to bring visitors to your website. And that's where a lot of people get it wrong. they think of website and Facebook and Twitter as separate entities. So it doesn't work because it becomes, the whole strategy becomes incoherent. So everything else you do, whether it's Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Facebook, Google+, or even Google search engine, everything has to send traffic to your website under all circumstances. So a lot of people, they write blogs, they write very useful articles, but they write it on Blogspot or some other blog sites. It doesn't help them. They don't get any business.
What's that one now?
That's blog.
Ah.
So whatever you do, it has to be driving traffic to your website. So that's your central console. That is one key thing you have to remember. Otherwise, you won't be able to benefit from much of the social media. And a lot of times, even the experts, they get it wrong because they come up with strategy, separate strategy for Facebook, separate strategy for Twitter. And quite often you don't see the results because they're all disjointed. So you have to have a concerted marketing effort to drive traffic to one single place, which is your website.
So would you actually, in that case then, so if you're sharing an article, for example, would you place that advert going into Google+, Facebook, LinkedIn?
Basically, whatever articles you write it on your website.
Yeah.
So your website has to have the capability and you have to have the knowledge to be able to add articles quickly onto your website. So if your website console doesn't allow that or it's too complex, it's time to change it. So it should be easy for you to write as many articles as you want and keep adding more and more articles onto your website. So if you're using Blogspot, stop using that. Instead, get a better website where you can add those articles on your own website and start writing those blogs there.
And how people, for example, on LinkedIn would be able to see that there's
Yeah,
actually
we'll cover all of that. Yeah, we'll cover all of that. Now, there are hundreds and hundreds of social media platforms out there. Don't even bother because yeah, big companies have big budgets, so they can publish their things on 100 places. For small businesses, it's not worth it. It doesn't work because neither you have time nor money to handle all the social media platforms. So just select the biggest few and just stick to them. Don't go beyond that. Otherwise, you'll just unnecessarily create so much complexity in your life or end up spending so much money that it won't help you in any way. So for small businesses, don't go anywhere else. Just make sure that your site, your business is on Google Maps. Use Twitter and Facebook. If you want, you can use Google Plus as well because Google looks at Google Plus favorably, anything that is posted there, obviously. And if you're selling from business to business, you should use LinkedIn. And if you're selling from business to consumers, you can use Pinterest as well. But Pinterest is not for your business, like accountants and all. It's for like fashion, media, anything that generates nice, beautiful pictures. So you could just ignore that for now. And then the blogs, different blogs, so we'll talk about that. So just focus on just a couple of these things and forget about everything else. And that would save you time and money, and you'll still get the same sort of results that you would get. Now, so step one in this website strategy is, in terms of search engines, there is this big buzzword, search engine optimization, SEO. So, most companies end up hiring a lot of these consultants who do SEO, and nothing happens. That's it, nothing happens. Because small websites, as per the Google algorithm, can never go higher up in the ranking, no matter how much money you pay to those SEO experts. So what Google is looking for is information. More information your site contains, better it is, higher your site would be ranked. And more consistently you keep adding that information, faster your site goes up. And it's not random information. It has to be unique articles, useful articles, interesting articles, articles that are all related to your business. You can't write random articles like one fashion article and one accounting law change article. No. If you're an accountant, focus only on your practice, and all articles have to be related to that. So it has to be valuable, and write the articles on a regular basis. A lot of times when you talk to people, when they go out looking for a website, small businesses, what's the first thing they say? Oh, I want to make it look beautiful. Doesn't work. It has nothing to do with how much business you would get, especially in accounting field. So you would have noticed that a lot of these software solution providers, the companies who do millions of pounds worth of business, their sites are all very bad looking or very basic or very not at all good looking. On the other hand, the plumber next door has the most beautiful looking site. It doesn't get any business. So look and feel is secondary. Information is the key. That is one thing you have to understand. More information, the better. The more useful it is, better it is. Keep the site fresh. Keep adding more content. Again, like on a regular basis. Keep changing the look and feel of the website and content regularly, because more content you add, more visitors would be inclined to come back to your site to keep reading. More useful they find that information. Right? And then every time they come, once in a while they see different look and feel. It attracts them. They don't get bored with it. Examples are like, especially let's say if you're running a marketing campaign. In a marketing campaign, you have a particular theme. And if you're able to change the website look and feel to match that theme, then it's going to generate better results. Because when people come through that campaign, they'll see something coherent based on whatever they expected. Or for smaller businesses, let's say a restaurant, they could have change their website theme to Christmas theme around Christmas. Easter, they can change, put all the Easter bunnies there. But your site has to be able to provide those features to you. And all of this basically would be tying to different campaigns you would run as well. So you would create those campaigns and then run them as a joint, coherent campaign. So everything related to your social media and website has to work together. It has to tie in together. So before we go to the social media side, like we said, the website is the key. If that is your central console. All the traffic from social media has to come to your website. So let's look at some of the sample website options. So I've selected, there are hundreds and hundreds of options, technologies available. I've just selected a few of them. WordPress is obviously the most popular. So chances are if you go to a web designer, ask for a website, by default they'll give you a WordPress website. It's very rare for them to use something else. So WordPress has near monopoly in the market. Joomla is another competitor, but they are very small market share compared to WordPress. Wix is the most popular system where a lot of people who have budget constraints, they use Wix for creating sites on their own because they're able to change the content on their own. And wohola, obviously, I've taken the liberty to put my product as well because it's a brand new technology. Nothing like this exists as of today in the world. Now, in terms of WordPress, and this, I'll try to be as impartial as possible despite the fact that I put one of my products in there. And this is something that can be validated with any industry expert as well. So in terms of WordPress, it's a content management system, which means it allows you to add and manage content to your website. The advantages are obviously it's the most popular system, has a near monopoly in website market space. Most web designers use this. If unless you ask for something, most likely you'll just get that. That's it. And it has a very large number of pre-built plugins, which means web designers can just install those plugins to add new features to your site, and so it works quite well. And that's one of the reasons it's very popular. And it does allow you to add or edit posts on your website. So which means if you have a WordPress website, you can definitely write articles on a regular basis and keep adding to it. So that is an option that you have. Disadvantages are, which I've learned from talking to a lot of people, that even though most web designers I've talked to think that there cannot be anything better than WordPress in the world, it's like God's gift from heaven. But when you talk to business owners, they struggle. They just can't figure it out. They just can't use it. It's way, way, way too complex for them to use. And the amount of time it requires for them to train themselves or be able to make those changes, they just struggle and then give up, and then they just let the web designers make all the changes. So whatever that premise that web designers say that, oh, we'll give you a site which you can edit yourself, it practically, for all intents and purposes, it doesn't work. It's just a theory. It also has a limitation of what can be changed. For instance, you can add posts, yeah, great. But then if you want to change it to a Christmas theme at some stage, you have to change the whole look and feel of the site, buy a different theme from somewhere. You can't just change certain components without having programming knowledge or without hiring another web designer. So there are limitations here. If you have to write some custom plugins, for instance, what it means is that certain features, or if you want something that doesn't already exist, if you have to add it there, it could be quite time consuming and expensive to implement. So as long as all your business requirements are taken care of by one of the existing features, that's fine. If you want something new, it can be quite time consuming. So verdict is that WordPress can be used to implement this strategy. So if you have a WordPress site, if you train yourself how to use it, then definitely this is a good option for you. You could start adding content using that. Joomla is another one which is has much smaller market share than WordPress. It's also a CMS. It has pretty much similar sort of features. The advantage is it is also widely used, even though it's not that popular. It has many plugins as well. But disadvantages is, like, a lot of people I've come across who use Joomla, they struggle with it because it's far, far more complex than WordPress. So unless you want to train yourself, WordPress is a better option. Joomla probably is not the recommended solution due to additional complexity compared to WordPress. Wix, it's the biggest DIY solution, so you could even get a free website if you wish. The advantage is that you could get free or very, very low cost websites. So if you have budget constraints, then this is a very good option for you. It also gives you the ability to change websites on your own, which is great. So you could change the look and feel or whatever quite easily. So you don't have any dependence on web designers. But disadvantage is it can only be used for very small basic websites. So if you want any complex website, then it just doesn't work. It won't work for you. And another thing is that I've noticed that a lot of people who use DIY solutions to create their websites, unless they're artists or designers themselves, most of their websites end up looking terrible, even though you could use them, or they end up using some templates where 100 different people would have exact same website as yours. So these are the things. But these type of solutions, this strategy we are talking about, is not possible, because what we need is a website where you have far more control and far more features for this type of strategy that we are going to talk about to work. So these type of solutions are not useful for actually generating business. So if you just want a placeholder, a couple of page website, then perfect, you can go ahead with it. Then wohola. Now this is a technology that I have created. What it is it's an enterprise platform. It's not a CMS system. So CMS system is just one part of it. So what does it mean? Enterprise platform means that you could create any type of business solution and publish it using this platform. So there are companies like SAP, Oracle, Microsoft Dynamics who have these big installations, and usually their installations charge upwards of like few hundred thousands pounds for Microsoft Dynamics to millions of pounds for SAP and Oracle. So small businesses don't have access to any enterprise solutions at all. And so wohola basically bridges that gap. So you get enterprise solution, but you could also have, and it's the solution where right from very, very small websites all the way to very complex business functions where you want to automate all the business processes in your office, they can be all accommodated on a single platform. And the prices are something which is like even small businesses can afford. So you can't afford SAP, Oracle, £2 million solution, but you can definitely, almost any small business can afford wohola. And another difference is between this and other enterprise platforms is that, and even compared to WordPress or SAP, Oracle, it's easy to change the content and look and feel. So for instance, if it's a website, you want to change the content of the website, you just click and change, just like a Word document. You could change images, look and feel, you could make a Christmas theme, just within minutes, just a couple of button clicks directly on the web page. So you don't have an admin panel, because the disadvantage with the admin panel is you go back into the admin panel, like you've seen that if it's a small website, fine, it may still work, but on your computer, you may have thousands of files. You just forget. If you want a particular text, you want to see where that text was stored, all these folder structures and files, you struggle to even find that text. Same thing happens with all these admin panels. So if you know that I want to change this particular page, you just can't even find that page half the time, because there's so many posts in there. Just finding the right post and actually going to that text, be able to change it, can be quite time consuming. Just like on your computer hard disk, finding information can be difficult. So here, no such complexity, you just click on the web page and make changes directly, that's it. So you don't need to worry about anything. You could build business solutions using that. If you have some existing IT infrastructure, like most accountants would have some accounting packages, so you can integrate with any of those existing stuff. And you could get low-cost custom solutions. Disadvantages are it's a new solution, currently not well known, but that will change. That will change very, very soon. And not many pre-built plugins exist, but that's not an issue, because the architecture of wohola, any new plugins, any new features which don't exist, we are able to add within anywhere between few hours to few days at very low cost. So again, this type of solution can also be used to implement this strategy. So in summary, if you're looking for the website, the first part of your social media strategy is getting the right type of website. So you could use a WordPress website, you can train yourself, and if that works for you, perfect. Or you could consider a solution like wohola, and obviously there is no other option in the world as of now. So you would have to either go for WordPress or wohola. You may not have too many other options.
Would it work against you with you not being that well known? If you had the website with you, like when you're saying you have to update all your articles and stuff to get like customers in, because you're not well known, would that work against?
Yeah, whether that solution is well known or not, it doesn't matter.
That's
Because
the
it's your
thing, isn't
website, it's your domain, and
Yeah.
your articles.
Yeah.
So you're publishing your articles.
Yeah.
The technology, underlying technology could be anything. So it has no impact on anything else.
Any search engine?
Yeah, so the only difference that technology makes is how powerful it is, what kind of features you can get, how easy it is for you, what all things you can do as the website owner, or what kind of facilities you can provide to your users who come onto your site. So that's where the technology matters. But in terms of the actual traffic and all, underlying technology has no impact. So what you have to make sure is that these are just samples. There are hundreds of solutions available in the market. What you need to make sure is that first of all, you have to get the website right before you talk about the rest of the strategy. So what you need to look for is, when you go to a web designer, you should ask that you should be able to change the content easily. So don't just trust them when they say, oh yeah, you can edit the web content. Go back into the panel and see how it is done and how easy or difficult it is, and see whether you can learn it. That is the first criteria, because that is the key criteria. If you can't learn it, then you can't post those articles, then none of these strategies are going to work. You should be able to change the look and feel easily, like I said, because that's one part of the core strategy. So again, ask the web designer, okay, show me, how would I change this? If I want to change this image, how would I do that? If I want to change the color here, how do I do that? Ask him. Don't just take his word that, yeah, you can. And pages should load quickly. A lot of these CMS systems, even though they are popular, they're quite slow, because they were not designed for proper websites. They were originally designed only for blog. And people kept adding all sorts of features onto them. So they just become cumbersome, and a lot of times the pages load quite slow. That is a very important criteria for Google as well. Faster your pages load, more favorably search engines look at you.
For wohola, can you see that on iPads and iPhones?
Yeah. It's all responsive, yeah. And then also another thing is that in order to attract customers or users, you have to be able to give them certain features or certain things which are not available on other websites. Because more of those type of things you have, more people would like your website.
Google likes that as well, isn't it?
features do not affect the search engine rankings that well, but once people come in, if they see certain things on your site, which are generally not commonly available on your competitor's site, then those people are going to look at your site more favorably. So you have to see that, okay, if a WordPress site, yeah, I could get lots of standard stuff, but everyone has that same stuff. But if I want something different, I get an idea. Oh, if I get this, it's great. It's going to get me more business. But then you go out to web designers, like, there is no plugin available, it can't be done, that's it. Or you paid so much money and then we'll do it. So you have to ask them, what if I get that sort of an idea? How would you do it? And if tomorrow, let's say you decide that you want to give a customer, all your customers a console where their deadlines for all the tax returns is automatically published so that they don't miss their deadlines. And if they haven't submitted you that information, automatically reminder goes to them through email. You know, you want to automate your business processes so that customers are happier, you can charge more for those kind of services. You are happier because you don't have to have extra manpower. A lot of things happen automatically on your website without even you having to do anything, right? If you want to add those kind of features, can you do that on that particular platform? If we, tomorrow, let's say you decide that, oh, I got a few £1,000 to spend. So great, I want to create a customer console where customers can upload the information automatically, reminders go automatically, they can see their calendar. Can I do that on my site? And then at that point, if you realize that those things are not possible on your site, you'll have to throw it away. So ask those questions because you never know. Once you know things are possible, any ideas can come. And any ideas can come which can help you generate more business. So you don't want to be limited by the technology. You want something where any new ideas you get, you should be able to implement it. Okay. And any business processes you should be able to add because right now a lot of people don't do that because they know that it's not even possible. So they don't even think of all the possibilities that can get them business or that can make them more efficient. But after today's session, once you realize that all those things are possible, you let your mind, imagination run wild. Think of ideas and see what is it that you can do to provide better service than the person sitting next to you in this room. What would get you more business? So ask your web designer. Don't just take that person's word. So step 2 in social media strategy is select the right media platforms. That would be, like I said, dependent on how much time you have at hand, how much budget you have, which social media platforms would work. So as I discussed, for a small business, just use basic few, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and you're all B2B people, so LinkedIn is sufficient. You don't need to worry about Pinterest. And then you have to select the right blogs, blog owners as well. So the recommendations for small businesses, what you need to do is list your business on Google Maps. That's very important. Then you have to create a Facebook page. You would need to create a Twitter account. If you're selling to other businesses, which you are, use LinkedIn and create a LinkedIn page as well for your business. Pinterest, you can forget, this audience doesn't need that. If you, by matter of course in your business, you generate videos like this, like for instance, this session is being recorded. If in general you generate some videos as matter of course, you should look at YouTube as well. Otherwise, don't bother. If you're not generating videos, because otherwise they could be quite expensive to generate, so forget about YouTube for the time being. If you have a service that requires building a network or a group, like this particular group, so then also create a LinkedIn group for your members as well as a Facebook group. So where all of your AAT members would be the only members who would be allowed in. Okay. Or maybe create a group for your own customer. If it's an accounting practice, you have 500 customers, create a group only for your customers who are your customers of your accounting practice. Then if you also set up regular meetings, then you can use Meetup, Eventbrite, and Facebook events to publish those events so that you get more attendance, especially if they're public events. In a closed gathering like this, where only certain only your closed members are allowed to attend, then probably that may not be that useful to you. But if you have public meetings where you want any person to come in and join, so one of the good options for you would be, you could run a seminar in central London on some tax laws or tax planning or whatever, and publish on all these 3 areas, Meetup, Eventbrite, and Facebook. Then a lot of your potential customers might be tempted to come in and listen to you. And then you build contacts that way. So what do you do on social media? That's what we're going to talk about now. So before we go there, again and again, I cannot stress enough, your website is the key. Otherwise, social media does not work. The traffic has to, the job of the social media is, and your job is to drive traffic to your website. Social media just provides the tools to allow you to do that. And second thing that you need to do on social media is, you need to make sure people like you, they follow you, they engage with your content, so your following increases, which is easier said than done, but there are ways to do that. So first of all, we'll talk about how to drive traffic to your site. Important and most important and the only important thing is write informative articles that people want to read. More informative they are, more people would want to read, and more traffic you would get on your website. It's that simple. And that those articles should be such that those are meant for those people who are your target clients. Your target clients, what do they want to know? What information do they want to know? That's what you need to write, and it should be, those articles should be on your website. So which means your website has to allow adding more articles quite easily. The links to your website should be SEO friendly. So in wohola, that's already built in, so all the links are SEO friendly. If you have some other software, you should call an SEO expert to make sure that you learn how to make those links SEO friendly, so that they could be ranked on Google, and Google knows what to do with them. And then it's very simple. You keep writing those articles. Like I said, strategy overall is very simple. Keep writing those articles and keep publishing those links on all of your social media pages and accounts consistently, again and again and again. Just keep doing that. And create a routine. So you need to create a schedule for publishing those articles and just stick to that schedule. If you are not available, one of your partners or one of your employees should do that. So just create a regular schedule and stick to it. And as long as your business is running, keep doing it. What kind of articles? If you have extra money, certain budget at hand, what you can do is, you could hire a professional company to do keyword research on you. So on Google Analytics, you could actually type in the keywords, or you could do it yourself. It might take a little bit of a time to learn it, but if you go to Google Analytics, you basically, and also you could go to like Google AdWords, and over there you type in all those keywords that are related to your business and see how expensive or how cheap those keywords are, what sort of rankings you're getting for different keywords. So there are guides available, and you could take help from somebody, or you could hire a company. Once you have figured out those keywords, then it's best to write articles, whatever keywords you have selected. It's best to write articles and use those keywords in strategic places within those articles and the title. And as many keywords as you want to target, you write articles specifically for those keywords. And for each set of keywords, you have to have multiple articles. Okay. If you can't be bothered to hire somebody, or you don't know how to do the research, don't worry, don't worry. Forget it. Just figure out what keywords do you think your users would search for on Google when they want to hire your services. Start writing articles on those keywords. Use them strategically in the title as well. It shouldn't look fake. It has to merge naturally within the content. Just use those articles, the keywords consistently. Wherever that information needs to be written, use exact keywords to describe that information. Write general articles that relate to your business, that people may find interesting. Also, one of the things that really, really works on social media is create these small images. You must have seen like all over the place, you get all these small images with small quotes or whatever. So it could be like related to your tax laws, like some basic information that you think everyone wants to know, with a nice image, just a snippet, small snippet, linking to the actual article where the actual description of the tax law is written. Or it could be some general inspirational quotes just to build some random following. You know? And as long as it's inspirational, interesting, it's all fine. And as long as it's all mixed up with real informative articles, which link back to the real articles on your website, it'll work. It's fine. And try to limit salesy articles, because what a lot of companies do is they basically keep writing a whole bunch of salesy articles. Oh, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this, consider us for this, give us this business, give us that business. If you just keep doing that, it's not going to work. It has to be informative. Every once in a while, in between, you slip in these articles which are your sales pitch. But that should not be your main content. But that sales pitch has to be inserted anyways, because that is the key. That is what you want to publish. That's what you want people to read. But it should be mixed in loads, like a bunch of interesting articles, one sales pitch, bunch of interesting articles, one sales pitch. So mix it up. How to publish the articles? Again and again I'm saying most important. So you can imagine, I cannot stress it enough. All articles should be on your website, not on somebody else's website, not on somebody else's blog. Ideally, each article should have an image associated with it, because images go well. Whenever people open an article, they see the title and image, immediately it draws their attention. Should be a good image relevant to that article. Find a couple of lines of description for that article that would draw people to read that article. So that is very important, because when you publish those articles in the social media, all people see is an image and 2 lines. And only if they like those 2 things, they click on it to read that article. Otherwise they won't. So you have to have those 2 lines in a manner that is something that people really want to, that draws people in, and that image. And every time you write an article, post those articles on all the accounts which you have chosen as part of the strategy. Your Facebook group, your Facebook page, your Twitter account, whatever, everywhere. You could also consider buying a software, where you could automate some of these things, that you just publish the article once, it publishes to all your social media accounts all at once. So that's also another option. Make sure that every post you make has your logo and your URL in it, or or at least phone number or URL, both, so that when people know that this article has come from you, and then if they like something, whatever they read, they can contact you. Because quite often, we have to understand, people give business to those people who they can trust. And in online media, how do you generate that trust? You don't know those people, they don't know you, you've never met them. So the only way to generate that trust is if you can give them information that they really want or need, they find useful, then that builds that trust. And if that trust is built, capitalize on it, make sure that they know who you are and how to contact you. And URL for that page, which article links to, has to be there. So if you have written, let's say, post today about some tax law that has changed, and how that particular tax law change affects, let's say, plumbers, right, or electricians, or some regulation that has changed, right? You write an article about that, you have an image, you post it on all social media that, oh, very useful information for plumbers, this tax law could really affect your earnings. And your logo and everything, and the URL is the actual link to that particular useful article. So that when people click there, they go straight to the article, they read, and then if they like it and they read few of those articles, the trust is built, and then chances are that at some point they might be willing to do business with you. Other sources, this is important because there is a website called freelancer.com, and there is another one called fiverr.com with double R. they have loads and loads of services, hundreds of services available related to social media content generation, social media marketing, social media everything. They all cost $5 each. So every single service costs $5 each. So even if you have a small budget of $100 per month, or let's say £100 per month in this case, so that'll be about $150. That will go so far, you could get so much value out of it that you can't even imagine if you use these type of sites. So you would find people over there who can write very, very unique articles for you. So if you decide that I want 3 articles every week, right? And each article costs you $5, $15 a week, $60 a month, a small budget. You don't have to bother about it anymore. Just let them do it. Right? So all kinds of services are available. Do check it out. Go through every single service. See what all things are available. You'll be amazed what all things can be done for $5. You could even get videos. People make video advertisements for $5. People write articles for $5. All sorts of stuff. One of the key things that you have to find there, very important thing which we haven't covered so far, the last icon that you were talking about, the blog. Blog is something where a lot of people who are already bloggers, successful bloggers, they already have following. You have to make sure that they write about you and they link to your website. That is very important. Okay. Now, if you know some successful bloggers, great. You could talk to them so that they could write about you on a regular basis. They could feature you on one of their blogs on a regular basis. If you don't know those bloggers, again, Freelancer and Fiverr.com are perfect places. There are lots and lots of bloggers. For $5, they will feature you on one of their blogs, and a lot of them have big following. And this is one very key factor, very important factor that will get you, start getting your business as well as traffic. So you have to make sure that other bloggers who have following publish your articles, write about you, they link to your website. And by all means, use freelancer.com, fiverr.com to find those bloggers and give them contracts. Say, I want 1 article every month. So maybe do a deal with 10 bloggers, right? And say that every month, 3 of those bloggers would do that and keep rotating them. That's it. You know, just $15 a month, you got like such a big exposure. Also, another thing you should do is on Google, you search for free directory listings. So when you search for that, you get loads and loads of these directory services, which allow your business to be listed over there. So what you need to make sure is that you start listing your business into some of those directories. But don't pay for it. It's not worth it. Only go for the free directories. And if you think that that directory is actually in use, if you see that there are lots of people who are already using it, just register your business. Don't register in too many directories all at once, because that's again looked unfavorably. Just do it on a regular basis. Every single strategy, it has to be done bit by bit on a consistent basis. That's how you get the results. Otherwise, it's considered as spam, and then your ranking may actually go down. So don't pay for it, like I said. Building social media following. Okay. If you have 50 likes on your Facebook page, they're all your friends and family, everyone knows that, right? It never increases. If a third person comes in, who's your potential client, would he ever like that page? Never. No stranger would be willing to like that page who has only 30 or 50 or 100 likes. It's just human nature. So one of the most important things you have to do is, in the beginning, you have to reach a certain threshold before strangers can start liking your page. For that, the only way out is you have to buy those likes. Okay. Now, a lot of people on the internet and all, they make all sorts of ruckus about, oh, why should we buy this like, it's unethical. It's all bullshit. Okay. The simple thing is, it's a fact of life that when you are starting at a particular stage, unless you reach that threshold, you can't get real customers.
What is the threshold?
It depends on the nature of your business. So like for business like mine, I need at least 100,000. For an accounting practice, you need at least 1,000. And you would never get 1,000. It would take years and years to get there.
We might be quite popular, you know.
So,
I got 50 in the month.
so it's a catch-22. Catch-22. Unless people like your site, you won't get to 1,000. But unless you get to 1,000, nobody would like your site. So how do you even get there? So you have to put in that effort, and on Freelancer, Fiverr.com, there are lots and lots of services. For $5, they'll give you 1,000 likes within a couple of days.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so you have to get to that threshold first before you can expect normal people to start liking your page, because it's a confidence thing. It's, who are you? 50 likes. Are you even good enough? What kind of business are you running? Why should I like your page? It's very simple. You know, like when you go to a restaurant, if the restaurant is empty, would you go and eat in there?
No.
It's simple. Right? And that's why many restaurants, what do? They get some of their own friends or family and to go and come and sit there when the restaurant is empty. They do that. Every person does that. So you have to do that. Okay. There is no way out of that. Once you have enough likes to start with, once you've reached that threshold, which you think is suitable for your business, your size of business, your nature of business, then you can think of, okay, how do I get the real likes? How do I get the actual people to start liking my page? Not before that, it's not gonna work. How hard you try, it's not gonna work. So for that, nothing comes without money. You need to set a budget aside for that. And budget can be very small as $50 a month, or £50 a month, or $100 or £100 a month. And it can go very, very far using Freelancer and Fiverr. And one of the options you could do is you could use the boost post button on Facebook. So every time you post something, you could boost it. And then they charge you some, let's say £25. And then they get, you get certain number of likes. You could use Facebook advertising for that. You could use LinkedIn advertising. You could use basically, if you're using Twitter, even Twitter has an option that any post, you could pay them money and then it can be published to a lot of people or retweet it or whatever. So use those services. You have to use those services because people don't like your page for free, especially for small businesses. If you're an iPhone, Apple, yeah, you get a lot of people liking your page. If you're, let's say, Tom Cruise film, Mission Impossible 5 is doing a big stunt now, yeah, people would like that page. But an accounting practice in Hertfordshire, people are not going to like directly. So reality of life, we have to understand that and then work accordingly. So do the advertising. Without advertising, you can't get any results. Other ways to boost following. The ways that really, really work, most effective ways is you run contests on social media. So again, everything centrally, it should be on website, right? So all the contest related information, contest related stuff, everything should be on your website. But the details of that, you would post on social media, on all various accounts. So give some simple prizes. You can't imagine, just a simple gift hamper with just a few bits and bobs goes a long way. A lot of people just to win that hamper would, do whatever you need to do. Like maybe they might retweet your tweet, or they might like your Facebook post, or do a whole bunch of stuff just to win that gift hamper. So run those contests. And depending on how much budget you have, if you're giving an iPhone away as a gift at the end of each month, if you set your budget aside every month, this contest would have an iPhone winner, then you'll get loads and loads of people, obviously. But if you're doing a gift hamper, you may get smaller. So depending on your budget, you'll get genuine people to come in and start liking your post, start liking your page, start retweeting, start sharing your posts. Design your contest in a way that to be able to eligible for that contest, you have to either retweet my tweet or use a particular hashtag within the tweet, which is, let's say, your hashtag, or share your post or whatever, or maybe do certain steps that will actually get you those likes or following in order to be able to qualify for winning. And at the end of each month, select from random and give away that price. But make sure you give away that price. This word travels fast on social media. So no cheating. So give that prize away. And it also helps because every time you give a prize away, then when you publish the fact that you have given this prize, this winner or whatever, that also generates a lot of traffic. So it gives further additional promotion for you without having to do anything. Again, none of these things on social media, internet work if you do it once or twice or give up. Nothing works. You have to do it on a regular basis. So you could maybe decide that I want to run 3 campaigns every year, depending on your budget. Or you may decide if you have more aggressive marketing strategy, you may decide I want to run 1 campaign every month. Okay? Or you may have, let's say, a continuous campaign that a small prize every month, but 1 big prize every Christmas. Right? Just figure out different ways. Imagination is the key here. What is it you think can get business for you? Nobody else can tell you that. Nobody else can do that. You have to let your imagination run wild and figure out how you want to design that campaign. What would get business for you? The kind of customers you're looking for, what do they want? What would they be attracted with? If you give an iPhone as a prize every month, you would get loads of teenagers. You're not going to get any business out of them. So what are your customers interested in? When you run that campaign. So think about all of those things. And it's not about just the social media that you just do some random stuff. It's about what is it. You need to think about different aspects of your business, what is relevant to you and your customers, and design everything accordingly. Otherwise, posting messages is easy. Anyone can post any random message. You see all these teenagers like posting their drunk pictures. It's the easiest thing to do on social media, but to get results out of it, you have to have a strategy that ties everything together. Run the contest again and again. Then only it starts giving results, because every time you run a contest and when you repeat it, a lot of the previous people who had participated in that contest, many of them might be interested in joining again, plus new people coming. Word of mouth spreads. Longer you run that campaign, more the word of mouth spreads and more following you start getting. This is one of the easiest ways to build following. In Twitter, there are some special things that you can do. Apart from like all the regular stuff, apart from just posting the messages, what you can do is, there's something called hashtag. I'm sure everyone would be aware of that. So those hashtags are very important. In your business, make sure you have a particular hashtag, which either defines your business name or the type of service you provide. Right? So if your business is about offshore tax planning or whatever, right? So create a hashtag offshore tax plan or save tax or whatever, right? And then use that hashtag consistently on all tweets that are related to that particular aspect. So that people who are looking for, because in Twitter the way it works is, usually companies or businesses or people, when they're looking for something, they search for those hashtags. So if you're using that hashtag consistently, everyone knows that anything related to offshore tax planning, probably you're the right person.
Oh, I see. It becomes personal to you.
What's that?
It becomes personal to you.
Yeah. It meant, and use, even for your business name, use hashtag in front of that business name. Like for instance, when we publish something about wohola, we always say hashtag wohola. Always. And the type of, let's say, for instance, in our tweets, a lot of our target audience is web designers, right? So hashtag wohola, and wherever web designers occur, again, hashtag web designer, hashtag website, hashtag CMS, hashtag software, hashtag business solution. So the key things that are related to us are always preceded by a hashtag, the pound sign. Because that's what defines what type of business you are, and when people are searching for that information, that's how you get found on Twitter. Otherwise, nobody can find you on Twitter.
Actually, I've done a similar thing with on Instagram with into cycling, so I always do like hashtag mountain bike or something like that, and you get loads of random people just following you just because you put pictures of a mountain bike on it, and was it?
So wherever those hashtag features exist, use them. Because that's how people can find, otherwise they can't find you. Okay. Also, you can use the hashtags to find other people as well. Because if you search, let's say if you are looking for customers who are looking for accounting services, right? If you search for hashtag accountant or hashtag accounting services, chances are you might find somebody who's tweeting about, do you know of a good accounting service here or there or whatever, wherever. It's possible, right? Or somebody who's just complaining about his accountant that my hashtag accountant is, whatever. Just contact that person. So that's a direct lead. So in Twitter, you could do a lot of these things. So you could regularly search for different hashtags and actually try to find the relevant information or relevant people who are looking for those services or who are interested in those services, right? Or even if they may not be looking for an accounting service, if you see that some person talks about accounting quite often, and you see he's a business owner, that means he has an interest in that area. So if you somehow build that following, engagement with that person, sooner or later he might give the business to you. And a lot of these things can be automated. There are softwares available. Search on Google, and you would find loads of software that can automate a lot of that stuff. So you just get a daily report that these are the people who were talking about, these hashtags. So you could just run through that report and see if there are some relevant people. It doesn't take time. 5 minutes, run through that and see, okay, these people seem interesting, so I might follow them tomorrow or send them a tweet. Tracking the traffic. This is again important. So your website should have Google Analytics, which almost everyone knows and does, so which is fine. So you would get reports of where the traffic is coming from, but don't just look at it. You have to make sure you see where the traffic is coming from, which posts are generating more traffic, which of your social media platforms are generating more traffic. So you'll get all the reports. So that you can see that, okay, if I post these type of messages, it gives me more results. But if I post these type of messages, I don't get that sort of result. So, analyze that and then try to modify your strategy, the content, to be more popular that way, gradually. Same thing you would do, like how many likes you're getting on each post, how many retweets you're getting on each post. That will give you a good indicator what sort of content when you post people want to read. And then also look at who are the people who have liked your post, who are the people who have retweeted your message. Are they your target audience, or are they some random people? So look for that relevance and try to change your content in a way that more and more of those relevant people start retweeting or liking your posts. Then keep changing your content strategy based on the results you're getting. Now, just the traffic is not enough. Eventually you want business, right? Without business, nothing's going to happen. All of this traffic can be easily converted to direct leads. For what you need to do is, you need to be able to run marketing campaigns, and each marketing campaign that you run should have a landing page. So landing page is a page which is on website, but it's separate from website, where you have like very, very hardcore sales pitch with a contact form. That people just come in there and you just give them a very, very hard sales pitch. And if they like it, they say, yes, I want to contact you. So that's what is called a landing page. So you need a software that allows you to create landing pages on the fly on your website. Okay. And obviously the content of that landing page has to be good enough for people to read it and say, yeah, possibly this is a good company, I want to do business with them. And immediately they feel inclined to fill in the form. So that's very important. So if your software doesn't allow creation of landing pages, then it's not good enough. You have to change that software, change your website. Okay. Every single product or service or sales pitch you have should have one landing page by itself. So if you have, let's say, 5 different criteria, where 5 different things are your main USPs or main things that are going to attract people or main pitches that you're going to make to your customer, each of them should have a separate landing page. Okay. If you have 5 services, 5 different landing pages, if for each service you have 3 different ways you can sell, 3 different things you can tell the customer in order for them to choose you, then 5 times 3. So that many landing pages you have to have. And you need the ability, your website has to have the ability to be able to put up landing pages on the fly and bring them down as and when needed. Because landing pages don't stay there forever. They only stay for the duration of your campaign. Because you will not run 100 different campaigns at all times. You don't have the time or money to do that. At each time, you may only run a single campaign, or at the most you may have 2 campaigns running. So you may have only 1 or 2 landing pages live related to those campaigns. The rest of them you have to unpublish them. And when you're ready for running a different campaign, you can republish those and bring these pages back, because it's not possible for small businesses or even big businesses to run 100 different campaigns at the same time. So make sure that you are able to do that on your website. Creating a Google AdWords campaign is very, very important. So without that, it's very difficult to get the ranking. So create a Google AdWords campaign for specific keywords that are related to the pitch that you're making on that landing page. Okay. And publish those URL for the landing pages, not your main website in Google AdWords. So that if somebody searches something and sees your ad, if they click there, they go directly to your landing page, very hardcore sales pitch, and if they like it, they say, fill up the contact form, you got a lead. Also, just Google AdWords is not sufficient. Publish that landing page, that whole campaign on all your social media accounts as well. Whenever you run a campaign, publish it everywhere. And make sure that even some bloggers write about that. So again, you can just hire bloggers for $5 each and they can write about it. And then obviously, like once you get any leads and if people fill up your form, make sure you follow up and close that deal. Don't let them just go away. Most important thing to understand here is patience is the virtue. Patience is the virtue. If you think that as a small business, in next 2 or 3 months you could end up on first page of Google, or in next 6 months you start getting 10 inquiries a day, it's not going to happen. If that's your expectation, don't even try. But definitely, if you follow this particular strategy over a long period of time, consistently, then over a period of time, your inquiry levels would start going up and up and up. And the growth level would be dependent on a couple of factors. One is what sort of monthly budget you're putting, how much time you're putting, how many articles you're writing, and how relevant those articles are. Nobody can predict the kind of business you can get. So it's like one of those things that better you are at doing it, more money you spend doing it, more time you spend doing it, more results you get. And quicker you get those results. So there are no guarantees. But regardless of how good or bad your strategies are, regardless of how big or small your budget is, if you keep following this strategy, let's say for a year or 2 years, consistently, you'll start seeing inquiries after some time, and those inquiry levels would keep increasing, even if your strategy is not as good as you would have hoped for. But if you get very, very good coherent strategy, linking everything to your website, all the social media accounts to your website, and if you are able to think of something new, something different, in terms of service offerings, the kind of features on your website, the kind of like pitch that would be really hard hitting and people would really want to buy your service, then you'll get much better results and quicker. And as you keep doing this, gradually, over a long period of time, your site rankings would keep going up. Initially, you may not get any inquiries first few months if it's a very small company. But over a period of time, you may start seeing odd inquiries here and there, and they'll start going up and up and up. So that in a couple of years' time, you could just get regular inquiries on an ongoing basis, and you could end up in second or third page or even first page, depending on how good you have been in doing this and how consistent. Okay. it takes a long time. So you have to have the patience and discipline to be able to stick to it. This is one area where there is no quick solution available. But if you do it over a period of time with discipline, it's going to happen. Now, having said that, in a gathering like this, where all of you are accountants, you're all affiliated to a member network, right? Now, if all of you have your own websites, separate websites, and if all of you try to implement this strategy on your website alone, it'll take you years to get anywhere. On the other hand, if let's imagine a scenario where you have a single website for all of you, where each of you get a mini website on that single website, right? And you pool in the money for marketing for this website, whatever the social media strategies. Within months, you would be on first page of Google, guaranteed. And once you're on first page of Google, the amount of the traffic you get, even if you divide the traffic amongst how many businesses you are, you would still be far more than whatever you could possibly ever generate with a single separate website. And if you have that sort of a solution, then another thing you could do is, for instance, if you were to say that for my own accounting practice, I need a customer console where a lot of the accounting work gets done automatically, customers get reminders automatically, they're able to see their tax calendar automatically, they're able to upload documents in a particular format so that straight away goes into my accounting package automatically. I don't have to touch anything. You know, only when the customer has not done his job, I get an email saying that this customer hasn't submitted this information, you better call him, otherwise he'll miss his deadline. So you pick up the phone, otherwise you don't have to do anything, right? Let's say if you want to do that, if every one of you were to do that on your separate website, it'll cost a fortune. But if you have a single community website, you could add that feature which everyone can use and cost next to nothing per person. You know, and you get up on first page of Google very quickly, start all getting leads very quickly. Okay, some of you may get less leads, some of you get more leads, it depends on what you put in on your page. But having that collective website, community website is always a better option than having separate websites and everyone running the strategies separately. So this group has an advantage. If you could join forces, within months you could be getting a lot of business collectively. So to summarize what we have discussed, strategy is very simple, nothing complex about it. Have a website where you can change content, look and feel easily, add and remove landing pages easily. That's it, that's simple. Write useful and interesting articles on websites, publish them on social media, and keep doing it consistently. If you keep doing that, eventually you'll end up on first page of Google. Eventually you'll start getting a lot of inquiries, online inquiries through social media, through your website, which you can convert into direct sales. So this is what it is. So I would like to talk about a little bit about my company and my product as well, if you allow me. Is that okay? A couple of minutes?
Yeah.
So basically, like I said, I run Accelerator. It's a local company based in Potters Bar. So someday that people in this area would be proud that a local Potters Bar company became one of the biggest companies in the world. And so I've got this technology, it's called wohola and SwiftPass. SwiftPass is a little bit more complex, so I would not talk about that here because it's straight out of a sci-fi film. wohola is a little bit more easier to understand. So it's basically, like I said, enterprise platform where all of the features that I've said so far are available. Like you can change your content easily, there is no complexity, even non-technical people can use it. Plus, if later on you decide you want to build business solutions, you want to integrate with your Sage accounting package, you want to automate some of your business processes, you want to automate customer calculations or whatever, anything can be added quite easily and inexpensively. And the usability is very easy, that almost any function can be performed just a single button click or at most 2 button clicks, which are very, very easy to use and understand. So if any of you would like to see the demo of that, please contact me and I'll be happy to do that. So thank you for listening, and I really appreciate this opportunity to talk here. Thank you. Yeah, any questions?
On our website thing, we've got 4 buttons, but we're finding it difficult getting the buttons to work. There's 4 buttons, so
Yeah.
you click the button, and some of them work, and one of them just doesn't seem to work, and we're not sure what to do about that.
Basically that's a bug. Basically what happens is, like, when you get software from somewhere, so the programmer, if they haven't done the job properly, sometimes you have these buttons which work and don't work, and sometimes, like, some button is supposed to do something but does something else, or crashes or hangs or whatever. So it's just a bug. So you would need to basically hire a programmer or some web designer or somebody to come in and fix it. So it's just a faulty product.
Okay, and we've got lots of articles that we'd like to put on. How would we add those in as extra content?
So do you know what platform it is? Like what?
No.
Yeah, so you need to find that platform.
Okay.
Ask your web designer to train you on how to add articles on that platform.
Okay, well, that's really helpful.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But the thing is, like, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, no.
You mentioned software that would automatically send stuff out to all the social, to save you doing it. Can you give an
Hundreds
example?
of them.
Is it
Yeah, hundreds of them. I don't use any of that software personally myself, because for us, we build all of those things in wohola. So for any of the customers come to us, we will just give them those features in wohola. We don't use all these different 100 software, because wohola can do pretty much anything. So we don't even do research or whatever, but if you search on internet, that social media management platform, okay, then it'll give you certain options, choose whatever is within your price range and gives you the features that you need. So,
Thank you.
any other questions?
Just going to check. How much does it cost to set up the basic sort of page using the wohola?
The price varies. Like what happens is you have a number of solution providers, a lot of web design companies who are our solution providers, and every web designer charges different for the same website. Like we have one solution provider for this type of website that I mentioned, where you could add content, change the content, add landing pages. There is web designer who could do that for like about few £100, like 700 pounds, depending on whatever things you need. But then there are other web designers who are our solution providers who charge you for 6,000–7,000 for that same thing. It all depends, because it's an artistic field. A lot of web designers, they charge far more just because they think their art is more beautiful. So that's why we let the solution providers decide that.
So if we go to that web, would we be able to sort of see some samples?
Yeah, I can show you the demo.
Yeah, be very.
And let's say in this case, in this audience, like I would be happy to do the work myself rather than sending you to a solution provider. So in that case, I can give you a quote directly and give a good price. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, great. So no more questions. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How's your arm, Jess? Do you want me to